This is one of a series of videos that will help you prepare for your oral assessments in your Arabic 131 class. In the previous video, we covered up until mother and moms. So ummahat, say ummi. So my mom, ismuha, her name is Jessica, Sharon, or whatever. And then the synonym for that was walida, 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 which is a mom or a mother, walida. Now you could make this my mom, my mother, by saying walidati. Just change this ta marbuta to a ta and then put a ya after it. So you could say walidati, my mom, ismuha, her name is um, Ingrid or whatever her name is. Now, the plural forms of these two words, so the plural form of is ummahat, 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 and then the plural form of walida, walida is walidat, walidat. We talked about in the previous video that ab is a dad, ab, and then ba, we also talked about that means either dads, a group of them, or parents, just in general, parents, right? And then the synonym for parents is walidan, walidan, walidan. You could say walidani, my parents, walidani, ismuhuma, John wa Jessica, or whatever their names are, John and Jessica. Now, if you wanted to talk about a relative, just in general, say a relative, qarib, qarib is a relative, a male relative, qarib with a qaf, and then qariba is a female relative, qariba. Now, you could say qaribi, my relative, or qaribati, qaribati is my female relative. And then the plural form of for a co-ed group of relatives is aqarib, aqarib, aqarib. Now you could say aqaribi, my relatives, right? Um, as stated before, you can make a female-only group by using this qarib form or qariba form and putting an alif ta at the end of it. Qaribat, female relatives. Ahl is another word for relative. Ahl, ahl is a relative. Ahl. What about sister? Sister, we talked about very early on, briefly in passing, is an ukht. Ukht, that's a sister. Ukht with your kha, your scratchy h, your kha. Ukht, 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 right? Ukht is a sister. If you wanted to say my sister, you could say ukhti, 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 ismuha Jessica. My sister, name of hers is Jessica. Ukhti, Jessica, ukhti. You could also say ukht, Jessica, or ukhti, ismuha Jessica. Ukhti, ismuha Jessica. And then the plural form of sisters, is akhawat, akhawat, akhawat. These are only female group only. Akhawati, my sisters. Akhawati, akhawati, akhawat, sisters. Akhawati, my sisters. We talked about ibn meaning son, ibn meaning son, and ibna meaning daughter. The plural form of ibn is abna, abna, with a glottal stop at the end. Abna, with a glottal stop at the end. Ibn abna, ibn abna, ibn abna, with a glottal stop with a hamza at the end. We also talked about the fact that if someone is not a blood relative of your family, what we can do, what Arabs will sometimes do, is rather than refer to them as your mom or your dad or your aunt or your uncle, what they will do is they'll say the husband of someone's mom or the wife of someone's dad. The example provided here is actually for your step parents, right? So, zawj, and we don't need to put the dhamma there. That's for a high register like of Arabic. We don't need that dhamma there, nor do we need this dhamma here necessarily. You might see them there. That's a very high register of Arabic. But what you might see for a stepmom is, or sorry, excuse me, a stepdad is zawj ummi. That's the husband. The is implied here. Of is implied here. The husband of mom of mine. So that's my stepdad, right? So zawj ummi. So that's my stepdad. And then for a stepmom, it'd be zawjat abi, zawjat abi, zawjat abi. So that's the wife. The is implied. Wife is here. Of is implied, and then abi, dad of mine. So zawjat abi. That's my stepdad. Zawjat. I mean, excuse me, my stepmom. Zawjat abi. We talked about the maternal aunts and uncles and the paternal aunts and uncles. They're here listed aside from our cousins, right? Remember, khal, khal is a maternal aunt, excuse me, a maternal uncle. So this is an uncle on your mom's side, your mom's brother, right? So khal is a maternal uncle, and then the female version is over here, khale, khale. That's a maternal aunt. The plural of khal is akhwal, akhwal, akhwal. And then the plural of khala is khalat, 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 khala, khalat, khal, akhwal, khali, khalati. This is when you add the possession to the end of them, right? Akhwali, khalati, right? When you're adding possession to the end of them. What about paternal aunts and uncles and aunts? So am with an ein, am. That's a paternal uncle, am, and a paternal aunt is amma, 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 amma. The plural for am for a paternal uncle is ammam, ammam, ammam. The plural for paternal aunt, amma, is Ahmed, Ahmed, Ahmed. So we talked about the fact that in the Arab world, they may not call a non-blood relative uncle or aunt, right? They might say the wife of, right, zawja, or the husband of zawj, and then say khal or khala or amma, right? And in the same case, instead of using zawja, they might use woman instead of wife. They might use woman of. That's sort of roughly translating as the wife, right? So imra'a is a woman. So you might hear imra'at khal. So that's the wife or the woman of my maternal uncle, or the imra'at khali. That's the possessive version. Imra'at khali, imra'at, imra'at khali. Uh, so that's a woman. Imra'a, imra'a. Imra'a is a woman, and then nisa, nisa, nisa are women, a group of women. So imra'at khali or imra'at ammi is my aunt, right? But it's the non-blood relative aunt. And some words that you won't be required to know for the two courses, the 131 and 132 course, will be in your spreadsheet later on. You don't need to know these words, but they're all other words in case you're interested. A hafid, a hafid is a grandchild, a male grandchild, and then hafida is a female version, a female grandchild, and then ahfad, ahfad is the male plural, and hafidat, hafidat is the group of female only grandchildren, a half brother, half sister, أخ غير شقيق, أخ غير شقيق, أخ غير شقيق, and then the sister version, أخت غير شقيقة, أخت غير شقيقة, أخت غير شقيقة, and then parental guardians. Let's say you were adopted. You don't need to use this. You don't need to know this, but in case you're interested, أولياء الأمور, أولياء الأمور, أولياء الأمور. That concludes this spreadsheet.